So can you just tell me a bit about the offence that happened to you?
It was an offence of violence. The building that we caretake has an alarm that was triggered by the offender. I got a phone call to say the building had been breached, but normally we get a false alarm at least once a month. So we'd gone to the building just expecting a false alarm, not expecting anybody to be in there at all. So when it did occur to us that there was somebody in the building, I mean, that was as big a shock as to realise that there was somebody still there. And the person kind of jumped out on us, surprised us, and a fight ensued, which luckily, and I do say luckily, I managed to come out on top, but they struggled, and the police were called, which in the moment, I've not even considered calling the police, actually, just because it was so intense. And it was a third party that had just come to the building, and he said, I phoned the police. And luckily, I know the police have a bad rep in places like Wythenshawe, but they were there within 5 minutes, I would guess, very short space of time. And they then took over, and they give the police a run for the money. They earned the wages that day for sure. I think they all needed an holiday after that. It was quite a violent. It was quite a high degree of violence was involved, and then we got on with our day after that.
Yeah. How were you left feeling afterwards? It sounds like you kind of just got on with it.
The incident was initially shocking. I mean, we didn't know what to expect at all. I mean, like I say, we were just expecting it to be a false alarm. But the levels of violence, I suppose, it was me and my wife involved, and for the sakes of this interview, I suppose a little bit unfairly, but we both worked on the doors in the 80s and the 90s, so it's not uncommon for us to witness that type of an event. It's different when you're in the middle of it, and if you're the kind of target or the victim, it's totally different, and your adrenaline's going. And even though I said the police were there in 5 minutes, it just seemed like to go on for. I mean, I actually subdued the person involved, but she was still highly agitated, highly aggressive, screaming at the top of her lungs, and all that. I mean, to say excitement, it doesn't do it justice. Shocking. It's the whole scenario of not just the physical activity that you're involved in, but the screaming and the level of noise and the decibel levels, and mixing with that, we couldn't turn the alarm off, and it's one of those really pacing alarms. So, you know, it's like being in the middle of your own kind of thriller film that we didn't want to be in. I wanted a nice romantic comedy, and we didn't. We got a shocking thriller.
Yeah, it sounds really like a massively stressful situation.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Was it something that like stuck with you? Did you find yourself thinking about it afterwards?
My wife more so. I mean, because we were both involved. But I think I've got that almost uncanny ability that if I don't want to think about something, I don't think about it. And I think memories, it's like going to the dentist. It's like, just don't think about it. Or if you've had bad service in a restaurant, never go back. Just never go back. Never. But yeah, it does. I do think for a long time after, I mean, the building itself, the geography, it's an old Methodist chapel. And it could safely be described as a bit spooky in the hours of darkness. And I'd guess not so much now because it was some years ago, but for about a year, I mean, quite a long period of time afterwards, I was really cautious. We've never been broken into before. I mean, it's a church. It's still a live Methodist church. It's a very serene building. There's a lovely atmosphere. It's very open, very friendly, lovely atmosphere. But for a year, there was that kind of there was not, I wouldn't say a fear, but a kind of apprehension, especially if I was on my own in the building or if it was opening up. There was a kind of caution which was never there before. It's gone now because the passage of time, and it was a long time ago, but I would guess a year. I was very apprehensive about walking around corners and opening up or locking the building. And there was one incident when a squirrel had got in. Blooming heck, it nearly gave me an heart attack. And the sudden movement and the corner of your eye kind of when it moved, and I was gripped with real fear for a couple of seconds, and then I kicked the squirrel to death.
Had you heard of restorative justice before?
Yes, I was aware of it. Never really thought I'd have the opportunity to be immersed in it. Yes, simple answers. I was aware of it, but never thought it would involve me personally.
How was it introduced to you in this case?
I think it was initially a letter from the probation service asking if we would be willing, me and my wife, to be involved with the perpetrator. And there was a slight little bit of confusion as to whether the closure was for us or whether the closure was for the offender. And my straight away thinking was, I feel okay. I don't feel as if it was a fairly long time ago. I don't have nightmares. I think my wife took it probably worse, and I think that was out of concern for me probably. So I was willing to kind of shrug my shoulders and say, I'm fine, thanks for the offer, but I'm fine. And then it occurred to me, well, maybe it wasn't for me, maybe it was for the offender. And we genuinely wanted to say, listen, I've grown up in Wythenshawe, I get the pressures, and I really do understand the youth culture, where it's actually good to be bad, and the worse you are, the higher up the kind of converse success ladder you go up. So I understand where you've come from. You've been involved in the justice system, which I suppose wasn't a very happy experience. And I genuinely wanted to say, I don't bear any grudges. I don't have any hard feelings. And if anything, for the sakes of peace and a peaceful environment in Wythenshawe, I actually wish that you do well and don't ever get involved in the justice scheme ever again. And I have to say, if I can assist in that process, I absolutely will do. My wife was I think my wife was a degree reluctant, but I think we both was of this, eventually when we came to do it, we was of the thinking that if we can assist the journey of genuine, real rehabilitation, and you're a person that just wants to operate successfully in society, healthily, for the benefit of everybody, then I want to be involved in that process.
So did you get to meet them face to face?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Emotional. And I won't describe myself as an emotional person really, but maybe it's my age, I don't know. But she got quite emotional very quickly, and I had to really catch myself, because I thought, well, I'm going to well up in a minute. And there was just one or two comments, but she genuinely, I mean, unless she's a very good actor, in the kind of Oscar Wilde department, she genuinely looked remorseful. You could see she was very teary, instantly almost. And she apologised. And I just wanted to say, we don't bear any bad feelings. There's no grudges from, as far as we're concerned. It was a very unfortunate event, not just for us, but for you as well. And we're quite happy to shake hands and let's get on with our lives. And it went on for a long time, probably because I wouldn't shut up eventually. I probably elongated it more than it should. But I was eager for her to know there was no bad feelings on our part.
How did it help you doing that, and how did it help your wife?
It probably concluded an episode for all of us. I mean, I wouldn't just say me and my wife. It kind of put to bed I suppose we didn't know whether she was going to be psychotic or psychologically damaged and would bear a grudge against us, which it probably occurred to us because of the nature of the business that we've been involved with, and just human nature, just understanding the downside of what humans can do to each other. So I suppose for us, it gave us that peace of mind that she actually was just a normal, if that's the word to use, just a young young person that's probably had a difficult upbringing, has been involved in difficult circumstances. And I understand that in places like Wythenshawe, where we're from, the levels of support are just awful for people that have got problems. And if you're living in conditions of poverty or you've got mental health conditions, I mean, got to help you really. So I was eager to say I understand, and I'm more than willing to make peace. And I feel possibly she wanted to hear the same. I would guess. She was, like I say, extremely apologetic, and I would say, without the benefit of being a psychologist, that she was remorseful, and I'm hoping that she does get on with her life in a positive way.
Is restorative justice something you'd recommend to other victims of crime?
I think it's got a place, absolutely. And the beauty of a thing like restorative justice is it's a choice. You can take it, as we did, or you can leave it, but at least you've got that choice. And I would guess there's certain people that would run a mile away from it because they just want to forget all about it. But I mean, our reasons for being involved is, I think, on two levels. Is one, just to kind of reassure the young offender that we was fine, we wasn't damaged, because that could have been playing on her mind. Actually, may have been playing on that. Have I hurt somebody beyond kind of being repaired? So for that reason, but the other reason was just, I think that there was a balance of us making sure we was all right, and vice versa, us making sure that she was okay. No, I think the important thing is you just identified. I mean, giving restorative justice as an option is really important, not just for the offender, but for the offender, but for the people that have been offended against as well. Having that option is an absolute. It's better for it to be offered than for there to be no option of it.